I don't think we'll debate it, but I do actually want to get answers. So we'll do the bear thing. We're not going to really debate it much, but I always like to at least get the answers. So starting with you, would you rather come across a random man or a random bear in the woods?
I'm going to go man.
I don't even know.
You haven't heard this?
No, I
TikTok
have.
thing?
I've thought about it. I think both can bring danger.
If you had to pick
Well,
one.
if you had to pick one, if there was a button, there was a magic button, and you had to select one. One was bear, one was man. Which one do you think you would press?
I'd probably say bear.
Bear.
Why is that?
I just feel like, it's just like easier to kind of get them to go away.
It's easier to get a bear to go away.
I just feel like men are very unpredictable.
Aren't wild animals unpredictable?
I can predict that the bear is going to kill me.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, y'all, like, I don't know. But if you're going to ask me to choose one, I'm probably going to say bear.
We'll get everybody's answers. Go ahead.
So I picked the bear last time, and I picked the bear this time. I could either move.
That's it. No, that's it. Okay. What about you?
Bear.
Man.
Wait,
Man.
what did you pick last time?
I picked bear. Yeah.
Okay. What do you pick?
I picked the man.
Yeah, random man for sure.
We do need to wait until she's back, the one who's gone from the table, to get her answer. Those of you who said bear, so you said bear, you said
bear. Yeah.
Bear. Why bear?
So I picked bear. So I've noticed, I've done some self-reflection since then and just recently. I've had a lot of negative experiences with men, but it seems like the more positive experiences that I have with men and the more like safety that I feel, I might be inclined to pick the man. And I'm starting to wonder, did I just get bad luck of the draw, like in a sense, like in the past? And that's why my judgment is skewed, because that's the way I choose bear because of that. Is that a safe thing for me to do? Or if some people have really bad things happen to them, should they just kind of look at things as a whole and be like, look, you might have had like 10 bad things happen to you, but things could change. Okay. So I don't know. Yeah.
Why do you pick bear?
Sorry. I think I would pick, I know I would pick the bear just because I'd say both have primal instincts, but overall a bear would be more predictable considering the fact that it is a primal animal and less intelligent than a man. I just feel like
when you say the bear would be more predictable, you mean you could
like the
more
bear,
predictably imagine it attacking you compared to a man?
Well, the bear, say both are like per se hostile, then if the bear is hostile...
That's not the question. You don't know if the random man's hostile. You don't know if the bear's hostile. They could be. They might not be.
Well, if the man's hostile, then...
No.
You're taking the chance.
That's less predictable. I'm saying if you know that, like, say, like, if you're stuck in the forest with a man and a bear, if the bear gets provoked, what's it going to do? Attack you. If the man gets provoked, you don't know what the fuck the man's going to do. So I'm saying the bear, like, you know what it's going to do if it gets provoked.
Let me ask you a question, though. You mentioned provoked. If I put both of the men, like just a random man and a random bear in this situation, I think actually if you provoke a bear versus you provoke like some nerdy gamer guy who would never hurt a fly, like you could even go, like you could probably walk up to a lot of dudes and literally poke them and they would not do anything to you. Do you think you would have that same experience with with bears?
Well, the bear would definitely try to eat you, and you don't know if the random man in the forest is going to be a nerdy gamer.
I would argue you could actually do, hold on. I would argue you could actually do this social experiment and you could actually go out into the street and just approach a random man and you could even like poke him kind of annoyingly, poke him in the shoulder.
You don't know what they're going to do.
He can't eat you alive.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing though is,
But he's agreeing, right? He's saying you're right.
Yeah.
You don't know what they'll do, but let us assume for a second that you had 20 men and 20 random bears. If you went and poked the 20 men in the chest like this versus poking 20 bears in the chest like this, which one do you think would be more likely to, I don't know, eat your face?
Well, I don't know.
You don't
The
know.
bear, no, I
You
mean,
do
no,
know.
listen, like the bear would be more likely to eat your face, but you don't know if the man, like, that's the thing, you don't know, like, what he has on him. He could have a
No, I agree.
gun
You
or
don't know. The
something
man
like
could
that.
freak out, right? He could freak out. He could do horrible things. But
The bear would
which
eat
do you-
your face,
Which
and we
one?
know
But
that
which,
for a
but which
fact.
one do you think is more? Which one do you think is more likely to freak out if you walk over and start poking him in the chest? A random man or a random bear?
Well, the bear would definitely eat your face, but you know for a fact that the bear would eat your face. That's
Good point.
predictable. That's what I'm saying. The whole
Good
point
point.
of my entire, I guess, opinion on this factor is that the bear would, in fact, eat your face.
So you'd rather die because it's
So you'd
guaranteed
rather
you're gonna die?
predictably die than
Yeah, like
have a man look at you
You
like,
guys like
the fuck
aren't
are you doing?
understanding what she's saying.
No,
Well,
we're
no,
well,
understanding.
she's just trying to word it where like she wants to hate men so bad,
Or
but it just
per-
doesn't make
well,
sense. When we
perhaps,
try to make it
Wait.
make sense.
Why do I
we do
hate
need to
men?
get her response from this. So the question is, would you rather come across a random man or a random bear in the woods?
Oh. I mean, why are you in the woods as a man? Like,
Okay,
what-
hold on.
What we doing?
Hold on.
Real?
Because you guys are incapable of engaging with a hypothetical.
No. I'm
So,
going to answer the question,
Here's
but
the
it's
scenario.
Just, okay.
There is no motivation there. You're literally, you press, there's a magic wand,
Yeah.
and a random man in the United States, a totally random man gets dropped into the woods, so do you. And you guys are going to cross paths.
Would I'd rather cross,
So it's not
cross
like,
path
why
with a
is he
man
in the
than a
woods?
bear, to be honest. Because maybe you can help me get the hell out these woods. Like, a bear's not going to be able to help me, but
Okay, so
that's
in
why
this scenario, you pick.
I'm picking a man, I think.
I have a
But
serious.
I just feel like, if I'm walking through the woods and then I just randomly see a man, I mean, let's run like a walking trail, but if I'm like lost in the woods and there's just a random man in the woods, I'll be kind of creeped out.
It's not really the
I mean,
question. but-
if you were lost in the woods and you came across a random man in the woods,
Well, I mean,
wouldn't
I'd
you
be
ask
like,
him
I'm
for help?
lost, but I'd be like, what are you doing?
I have a
guess you're right,
question.
you're
No,
right.
But I mean, wouldn't you
You're
be
right.
like, I'm lost, can you help me?
Yeah, no, you're right. I'd be freaked. I'd be like, not like, what are you doing here? I'd be like, help me.
Yeah,
But,
help, right? You'd be like, help, I'm lost in these fucking woods, this sucks. Right?
I have a
Oh,
question.
God.
You switched to man, right?
Yeah, I switched to man.
Okay. Andrew, you were going to have a back and forth, I think, with her. On
Yeah,
this
well,
one.
I wanted to ask.
with me?
So I just want to make sure because I think I understand why a lot of women pick the bear, and I think that what you're trying to say is it's due to the predictable nature of bears. They're easier to predict. Men can do much more unpredictable things, and they have kind of the strength and will in order to have more perverse actions than the bear.
Yes.
Okay, so you kind of want us to see it from your angle. So let me ask a counter question so you can see it from our angle. And I'd like an honest answer from everybody. Do you think a man would rather tell his feelings to a woman or a tree?
A tree, probably.
Hang on, going around the table.
Starting with
Would a
you,
man
Brian.
rather tell his feelings to a woman or a tree?
Definitely a woman.
A tree.
A tree.
I feel like it depends on the situation, but I guess a tree.
I feel like he wants to talk to a woman, but he feel like he can't, so he'd rather just go talk to a tree.
I agree.
Good.
A tree.
Probably a tree.
Well, then, if the social commentary is that we need to be looking at it from your end, that you perceive men as being kind of unpredictable and dangerous in comparison to this massive wild animal, which is known for, mauling random people, then shouldn't you also take into account and take responsibility on the woman's end for the fact that men can't even talk to you or
Oh,
discuss
absolutely.
with you how we feel about anything and would rather tell it to an inanimate object than you?
Yes, and I have a quick question about that this for the table or whatever. My question is this. How come the idea of 20 men finding them in the forest compared to a bear sounds safer than me with one man? How come that is? I don't
Yeah, but I mean, I could engage with you on it, but why
Yeah.
would I tell you how I felt about it? I'd rather talk to a fucking tree,
man.
right? And this is the whole point. The whole point is that I would rather open up about my feelings to a tree than open up about my feelings to you by your own admission. And yet the social commentary is only one-dimensional, where you say, but well, how come men won't take responsibility for how we feel about them? Well, how come you won't see it from our angle that as we're having this discussion, I would probably prefer to take a random inanimate object, in this case a tree, and open up about my feelings to the tree than you, and it's true.
Well, I mean, like,
So,
I also...
isn't that crazy though?
That is-
Like, where's the responsibility
crazy,
from
but-
the other direction?
I
Crazy,
admit,
but y'all
Y'all set that up for
yourself.
yourselves.
Disagree.
I admit it is a bit It is a bit outlandish in a sense because it's like, I mean, I'm thinking if I were to encounter 20 men or a bear, I would feel safer with the 20 men than the one man. I don't know. Maybe is it because you have bad experience with one man? I never had a bad experience with 20 men. Is that it? Is that just the bias, like the confirmation?
Well, no. Listen. So what we're looking at is we're looking at kind of a plural meaning here from the woman's perspective. So I'm taking myself out of my shoes, trying to put myself into the shoes of you. You say, listen, I'd much rather come across a random bear than a man because I can ascribe all of these motivations onto a random man of things that they could do to me which are sick and twisted and dark and horrible, and I can maybe at least predict a bear. And it's like, men, from the woman's perspective, like I don't understand why men don't get this.
Donated $200. Only a female could be stupid enough to pick a wild animal that will kill them over a grown man who can save her life. There is a reason no good man wants these women.
Damn. All right, Grid 1 Motorsports. There he is. Coming in.
Grid 1, the legend himself.
Actually, I do have a point to make.
You a good man?
Imagine being
like
too
have a woman.
So anyway, so back to this just real quick, this exchange. What we're looking at is the duality.
I'll get you
here.
in.
Thank you.
If I'm taking myself out of my shoes and I'm putting myself in your shoes, I'm trying to see it from your angle. Because to me, it's insane, right? A woman saying, I'd rather have a random, but I'm going, okay, this is the problem with the social commentary from the female perspective. We're not listening to the women and how they feel about us. But then when I bring up the tree, you kind of instantly are like, yeah, of course a tree, but then don't give a shit, right? You're just like, well, and fuck them. I don't care if they would prefer to talk to a tree.
Can I ask a question?
We have done nothing. We're perfect. If they have to go talk to a tree, that's also men's fault.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Why do you think men can't express their feelings to women or to anybody, honestly?
Because y'all don't give a fuck.
Well, yeah, because you don't care and you don't. So the thing is that if you don't,
response.
Yeah, so I'm gonna answer your question, right? If you don't give a shit, and you don't, right? And this is why you know that.
No, not and we don't. Not and we don't. Who said we don't give a shit?
You did, because you said that you know that men would rather open up to a tree than you.
I'm so sorry, but me saying that I know men would rather open up to a tree does not mean that I don't give a shit about what a man says. Like,
well, she doesn't want you to express your feelings to her. We just know you prefer that. Because men don't want to be
because of the system men have set up for themselves.
Probably because it's men's fault that they would rather talk to a tree.
Probably because of the system men have set up for themselves.
Right, so it's men's fault that they would rather talk to a tree. Women have no accountability at all, right?
It actually is.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's the whole point of the duality. The reason we don't give a shit about the absurd fucking answer of women who go, I'd rather fight a bear in the woods. Even though none of you ever experienced a fucking random bear in the woods. You have no idea what that's like. It's the most terrifying experience of your life you have. What happened with you and the bear in the woods? Tell me. Go ahead, tell me. Give me a story about you and the bear in the woods.
I stood still, and it was predictable, and it went away.
Yeah, what happened?
I stood still. I could predict what the bear would do when I would stand still and hide. Yeah.
This actually happened?
Yes.
Where?
I'm from California. I've been to Tahoe multiple of times.
So up in Tahoe, what type of bear came around you?
A black
and you
bear.
Just stood still and it walked off.
Yep.
Where?
Because bears, guess what? They're predictable. Men aren't.
No, bears, especially in Tahoe, are not predictable.
Well,
especially because they eat human garbage and things like this. People out there feed them. It's a massive problem. They're usually in those areas ultra violent because they have no fear of humans. It's totally unpredictable. But the point is that the reason that we don't give a shit about the social commentary on this, we don't care to see it from a woman's perspective. But don't you men understand why it is that you're so dangerous? Is because when I bring up a counterexample of the tree, you go, well, that's also men's fault.
It is. It literally is your fault. You guys have set up this system for yourselves.
Wait, what system?
What do you mean, what system? Like men telling their sons, you can't cry, you can't express this, you can't express that. Be tough. That's y'all set that shit up.
Wait, so hold on, Abigail, you respond, then you have something. Go ahead.
Okay, I would say the reason sons are raised to suck it up is you asked him.
Exactly.
This is just hold on. This is just an example. You asked.
Lol Paladins donated $200. Maybe the bear was at the funeral.
Could be.
Y'all making some money.
You asked him why he thinks that men would pick the tree. and he answered with the same answer, and you said, okay, give me an actual good answer. So they elaborated on how they feel on the subject, and you started yelling and
I
talking
never
over them.
asked why they think
I
men
wouldn't
would
want to
pick the
share my
tree.
feelings
Here,
with that.
just can you be straight? Just be straight on. No, be straight on. Turn the microphone. You're hiding behind the mic. Scoot it to the edge. Scoot it. Just scoot it to the edge of the table. Scoot the mic to the edge of the table.
It is like so
Yeah,
close
the
to
reason
edge.
he's asking that from the audience perspective, if your mouth isn't actually close to the mic when you're speaking,
No, I
nobody
hear.
can hear what
I hear
you're
that.
saying.
I hear what you're
Yeah.
saying. I didn't know my mic was far away. I apologize.
Yeah. It happens all the time because you're in the conversation, and it's easy for people to shift. That's how body language works. All that
Yeah,
stuff.
no,
So
my bad.
yeah, no big deal.
But so if he expressed to Brian here why he would rather talk to a tree than a woman, Brian would understand. I doubt he'd talk over him or say that's not a good enough answer. He expressed those feelings to you. You talked over him. You said it wasn't a good enough answer. But you're also saying you responded that way, and nobody would want to share their feelings with that. That's just objectively true. You responded that way, and you're also blaming men for not wanting to share their feelings with women.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but all they said is they would rather talk to a tree.
And that was just
And
their
they
answer.
said because
You're
women
actually
don't give them-
interrupting me, and you were just talking to me about interrupting you. So.
I'm so glad I'm not dating donated $200. Big stresses that I can only solve must be internalized and dealt with. Saving the stress and worry from a spouse whom looks up to me for guidance and leadership.
Amen.
I'm talking to a fucking tree 100%.
Yo, I'm so glad.
Right.
I'm not, hey, thank you for the TTS, man. Also, Kill of Cereal. Sorry if I was a little tilted earlier. I don't know if you're still watching. It was just kind of a hectic moment, but I'm so glad I'm not dating. Very good to see you.
He was waiting for me to come on and wish me Happy Father's Day. That's all.
I'm not even
all,
sure.
Killer of Cereal.
I'm not even sure if he's still in the chat, but I'm so glad I'm not dating. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Go ahead with your.
I was just saying they told me that they would rather speak to a tree, and they said, "Oh, why is that?" And I just said, "Well, y'all set that system up." That's all I said.
No, actually, the opposite happened. What happened is we asked you, what do you think men would rather do? Open up to a woman or open up to a tree? And you
said tree.
To a tree. Right, so this was not us juxtaposing a position onto you. This was you rather
And then you
telling
guys
us
agreed
your
that you would
position.
rather talk to a tree.
Right,
And I
why?
said, yeah, and I said,
So
it's,
why?
But-
Why would you
okay,
rather
hold
talk
on,
to a
hold
tree?
on. Can you just straighten up? Here, look, straighten up. Scoot the mic this way. Scoot it to the very edge of the table. Because what you end up doing is you're like hiding behind the microphone. So just speak straight into the
so
microphone.
I have really bad posture.
It's okay. Go ahead.
So yeah, I was just saying, like, why would men rather talk to a tree? Probably because from the age of like 2, they were told that they can't express their emotions. They can't feel this. They can't feel that. They can't cry. They need to toughen up.
Yeah.
that was her
What I'm
answer.
going based off of is when you said, you asked them, why do you guys think men would rather talk to a tree? And they said, because women don't care. And you said, give me an actual good answer. That was both of their answers, and you didn't like their answer. That was them expressing how they feel, and you didn't like it.
But
I
why
wouldn't
do you
tell
guys,
you
I'm
that.
why do
happy
men
to
feel
engage
like
with
women
her,
don't
with her
care?
answer.
Yeah.
I'm happy to engage with her answer because I think it's actually interesting and rather telling, right? It's the man's fault that he would rather do that. But this is the duality that I'm trying to point out. The duality is this. The reason that you think that men are so unpredictable, you don't know what they're going to do, this and that, is precisely because some men cannot control their emotions. Because they don't have good impulse control. Because they do act out, and when they do act out, they do a lot of damage because of their lack of emotional control. And yet, here you are saying, if only men had less of this emotional control could open up to us, wouldn't that be actually counterproductive to your position of the bear, though?
I think opening up to a part of empathy, like on a level of empathy.
Nick.
I'm willing to challenge my own delusion. I will say this. I'm willing to challenge my.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Wasn't this directed at you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So you're
Sorry
kind of.
about
What did you say?
He was directing
You
all
didn't
these
hear what I said?
towards you.
No.
Oh.
You didn't hear what he was saying?
No.
None of it?
No.
Fix what?
Okay, well then I'll just have the conversation with the person who's listening to what I'm actually saying.
you
So
should.
anyway,
That's
back to where we're at.
Wait, you know what? Wait, hold on. I want to tune into something that actually just occurred. Andrew, the thing that you brought up was, do you think a man would rather share his feelings to a woman or a tree?
Yeah.
She wasn't listening to anything.
Right. She wasn't listening
even
to a
though
word
you've
of it,
been
right? Because she
perfectly
doesn't care,
That's
right?
one woman in a group full of women that you
even
feel
though
like that
you've been
about.
perfectly respectful, Andrew,
how are you
you've
gonna
been
relate that to
perfectly
everyone?
polite. She intentionally just refused to even hear what you had to say and hear how you felt and hear how you thought about the conversation at hand. She's literally just proved your point.
I'm just going to say it wasn't intentional.
It's also your fault, Andrew.
I'm just going to say,
It's my fault.
You're
Go
speaking
ahead.
on me, so can I say something?
Go ahead.
It wasn't intentional. I genuinely just spaced out.
He was, you literally
Right,
asked him
which
a
is
question.
why I would rather share my feelings with a tree. What would be the difference if I had shared my feelings with
shared
you?
feelings
you had
with
as
men
much of an
before,
emotional
and they've
response as a
spaced out.
tree.
Andrew, dude,
Okay,
I've shared my feelings with men before, and they've spaced out.
Yeah.
Okay, ADHD is a thing, honey. Learn about it.
Can
What
I
is
say
the
something?
thing?
I said ADHD is a thing, honey. Learn about it.
Hold on.
Well, I mean,
Wait,
so,
wait.
Learn
so
about
let
it.
you come
Any
in
gender
just a
can
sec.
have it. Any sex can have it.
Wait,
Okay.
hold on.
What's your
hold on,
ADHD?
Yes, dude. You
Oh, okay,
space
so-
out. Like, hello.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear what you said. My ADHD was going.
Okay,
What
and
were
that's
you saying?
fair. And that's fair.
Okay, couple
Wait,
things here.
what? I'm sorry. I can't pay attention to a word you're saying because my ADHD is going.
That's fair.
But anyway, back to
Wait,
this.
I gotta ask. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on. Okay, can you just scoot your mic
My
to the edge of
mouth
the table?
is literally an inch away from this microphone.
I don't know. Fix your posture.
I don't want to. My mouth is literally so close to this
No,
microphone.
but I'm saying you can scoot the mic back, and then you move your head back.
But I'd rather just sit like this. Like, I'm more comfortable
All right,
like
whatever.
this.
I'm not going to deal with this right now. Go ahead with your point.
Okay, my point is, it is like in our society, women do find emotional men who talk about their feelings less attractive and less masculine, and so they really don't want to be with them. So men will mask those feelings because women don't want to be with a whiny guy.
Who said that?
I have a couple
think
things
it's
on
a
this whole
society.
vulnerability shit too.
No, but who said that?
It's not what you
It's
say,
not like-
it's actions. Women will leave emotional men. They just will. You
Like,
see
who
it.
said that?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it depends
don't
on
think
the woman.
that's
First of
true.
all. I don't think it's a gender thing. Okay, first of all.
I mean, it's pretty observable. It must be by your own standard because you say that men are too stoic.
I can ask a couple clarifying questions on this. First off, men and women tend to try to resolve problems in different ways. Typically, men don't like to talk about our problems. We either want solutions or we're just gonna accept it and move on. Now, I do want to try to look at this from a dating lens here. So when it comes to this vulnerability thing, do you guys, just show of hands, do you prefer a confident guy or a guy, like if a guy's approaching you, do you prefer him to be confident or would you prefer him to be like kind of nervous and shy and shaky? So raise your hand if you prefer confident. Up, raise them high, please.
But the
You
point
prefer
about him
confident
making
guys. Okay, so you prefer nervous, shy, shaky
no,
dudes.
I don't prefer like honestly anything because like if someone comes up to me, I'm not going to judge them for how they.
I
approach
prefer a
me.
guy
Really?
listening to me.
You're not gonna.
No.
So your confidence is not an attraction trigger for you.
Confidence is attractive, but I've been with someone who I was very happy with. He was
So
a
you don't-
dope guy, and he was emotional. He was.
No,
Oh,
but you're not. Okay,
What?
if given the option,
You're not telling him what he has to hear.
Oh, what do you want to hear?
it might genuinely be her answer, but she didn't really like. I don't know if she fully understood the question. So
Maybe not.
would you prefer a guy to step to you in a confident manner, or a guy who's like shaky, a little nervous, eye contact's not great?
I mean, he can
retract
be
that.
nervous.
So
I
if
mean,
he's
that's
if he's
like a-
nervous, does that make him emotional?
Well, we're talking about vulnerability.
I think
here.
that
Does
so
that
I
make
do
him
think that
vulnerable?
would be the
Vulnerable, I don't have
trigger,
an issue
right?
with that.
So if you're looking for confidence or things which you would gauge
think you
as
have to be nervous to
confidence
be
in men, I think that the metrics are somewhat similar between men and women for how they judge confidence, and I think one of those standards is going to be emotional control. So if a person, in other words, if a fire starts in your kitchen and a guy starts running around and screaming just like you do, you would say that that's not a sign of confidence nor competence, right? Yeah, so that would be
But I
this
wouldn't-
kind of lack of emotional control under adversarial conditions seems like that would be tied in with confidence and competence.
Well, I feel like a lack of emotional control doesn't like people can have lack of emotional control and completely fake being confident. Like that's.
Yeah, I don't think that has
yes,
to do with
yeah,
being
hang on.
confident
Yes,
at
that's
all.
true. But what's interesting is that that's why when adversarial positions are pushed on them, you start to see whether or not that's a facade or it isn't a facade. That's one of the reasons that women shit test, right? Because they're trying to kind of push that and see if this guy actually is giving you a facade or if it's the real him.
Well, what I've noticed a lot is that you've made a general stereotype about women, just saying woman this, woman that, when you've made an assumption about one woman at the table. Not all of us don't care. Not all of us would rather a man speak to a tree than us. Like, genuinely, like, as me, like, I try to be the best person that I can possibly be. If someone needs to talk to me, I'm not going to judge them for it. If someone walks up to me.
Yeah, but actually the kind of the fallacy here, or fallacious argumentations on your behalf, because what you're doing is taking a generalized statement and saying, but not me, though. But it's not mapped.
Saying, like,
but you're generalizing.
Like,
hang on. It's not mapped to you specifically. So if I say, for instance, most women, hang on. If I say most women like tall men, and you go, but I don't like tall men, though, that's a non sequitur. It has nothing to do with what I'm saying. It would not change the fact that most women do, even if you don't.
But it does change an opinion.
Well, I'm just saying that not like every woman has the same opinion. Like, I have a different one, she's gonna have a different one, they're gonna have different ones. Like, everyone, like, you can't make a generalized. Sorry, I'm not talking. You can't make really a generalized statement based off of one woman. Like, per se, like, I don't want to.
We're not doing that, though.
Well, you keep saying women this, women that.
Yeah, I know. I'm making a generalized statement based on what we see in observations in society. Not that every specific woman follows these same criteria. I'm sure that there's plenty of women who like short guys. I haven't met very many of them, but I'm sure that they're out there.
I mean,
but in general, in general, they don't seem to like short guys.
Was it not a generalized statement when you said women don't care when men speak about their feelings? That's a generalized statement.
That brings
me. No, that was applied at the micro, not the macro, because every woman at the table said that they know that men would prefer to talk to a tree rather than
what does that have to do with a woman caring?
That's where I had an original point.
Right there.
That's society's norms. That's not. It can be gender based, but it also can't.
So your objection to you object to generalizations? Is that your point?
Not necessarily. I would say that some men would prefer to talk to a tree, but that's just because of society. That's not because of women or men. It's not like a gender. It's not because of gender. That's because of how society has trained them to think. Like, I would rather talk to a tree than anyone. It's not a thing about gender. It's just like comfortability, because like
if that's
opening
true,
up is scary.
I think we can test and see if that's true by asking a follow-up question.
That's my point.
Let's just ask a basic follow-up question. Do you think that men are more likely to open up to their feelings to women or to other men?
Probably to other men.
Honestly, it depends on the type, because I feel like with my
just
guy
in
friends,
general,
everything depends.
Well, it depends, because you talk about different stuff with like
the world isn't black and white, dude.
There's
layers to everything.
There's generalizations you can
There's
make.
layers to everything.
I have a comment.
I agree. There's layers to everything. But if we were to say that 51% would be most and 49% would be not most, would you say that most men would prefer to talk to other men about their feelings or would prefer to talk to women about their feelings?
From what I've noticed, actually, women. Like most of my guy friends, at least, they've talked about it, and I've talked about this with my parents as well, including my dad and my stepdad, and they're like, oh, like, there's just women and men have a different relationship. So if you're
then why in the world would you take the position that they would rather talk to a tree about their feelings than you if you think most of them would prefer to talk to women over men? That makes no sense. It's absurd.
Because first it was trees and men, and now it's women and men. So what are we talking about?
Yeah, but if your position is, do you think that a man would rather talk to a tree about their feelings than talk to a woman?
I think
right. That's what your actual position is. Then why then would you say that you think that men would prefer to talk to women about their feelings?
I feel like anyone would rather talk to a tree than another human being. It's easier to open up, honestly.
You think so? Okay, so I see. So you think that all people would rather talk to a tree about their feelings?
Not all people, but like coming from, I don't know, everyone here, I don't know, would you guys rather open up to someone or like talk to a tree, because the tree's not going to judge you?
So then let me, so then we can just clear this up really fast. We can clear it up super quick. Clear it up super quick.
I mean, the thing is with telling people
we can totally clear this up in 1 second. So going around with just a quick question, do you think then, going around the table one more time, that men would rather open up about their feelings to women or to other men? Show of hands.
Can you take her phone?
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Do you think men would prefer to open up to other men about their feelings or to women about their feelings?
Honestly, women.
Going around the table.
I'm still saying women. I'm going to say women.
I say women, and I have some interesting statistics on that.
Okay.
Hold on, keep going.
Men probably, I don't know.
Probably women. If they're married women, but men, usually friends.
Probably men, because they can relate to what they're saying. Women usually aren't able to.
Andrew, I do want to move this on pretty soon here, but do you want to finish up?
No, I'm just going to let that stand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Now,
yeah.
last thing on the bear thing, I do actually want to ask the question. So, what percentage of men, those of you who answered bear, what percentage of men do you think, in the circumstances provided, would choose to victimize you? Starting with you. Go ahead.
What percentage of men?
Right, because so if it were in the United States, it's a random man. That's half the population. I don't know, how much is that, 160 million men?
You're asking what percentage of them would choose to victimize
right, because
me?
so you picked the bear over the man. So you must have done some sort of calculus where you feel that the risk, that's okay, you feel the risk is greater with a man compared to a bear, so you must have some sort of determination when it comes to risk assessment. So if you had to assign a percentage, which men would choose to attack you, I guess?
Which type of men?
No. What percentage of men?
You said
All
which
men would attack you. And
I mean, like, I feel like that's kind of hard to answer. I'm just going to piggyback off of what she said, which is that bears are predictable.
Okay.
You know that their main...
But I'm asking you a question, so this...
I'm
just
getting
answer
to the
question.
answer.
Okay, go ahead.
Bears' main, like a bear, we know their main goal is to kill us, right? Whatever. They
Sure.
want to attack our face, how you guys are saying,
Yep.
whatever.
Talked about that, yep.
Men, we don't know. They have like a plethora of things they could do.
Sure.
Manipulation could be a part of it. They could be like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to take you home. Don't even worry. And then boom, they kill you.
It could be a...
And so that's why I feel like it's a higher percentage with men versus bears. Because we know what to do in the situation with a bear. Most people have been, I don't know if most people have, but I've been taught what to do in the situation with a bear. With men, am I not speaking into it?
You're like over
Is
here.
it like only in the center?
You just like think of
I'm like actually so confused.
Okay, think of the center of your mouth. The center of your mouth needs to be center with the microphone.
Okay, so the sides don't count. I can't talk into the
Just
sides.
Center of
Okay,
the microphone.
gotcha. Center. Yeah, there's a plethora of things men can do.
So can you answer the question though?
What percent?
Yeah.
just guesstimate.
I acknowledge, yes, a man could do all sorts of things.
So I'm going to say a higher percentage. I don't fucking know the percentage, but I'm going to say it's higher.
Well, like 50, 75?
How about, do you think it's a majority of men? So more than 51%?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to actually give us a range? Do you think it's 60? You think it's 70? You think it's 80?
I don't know. I just think it's a lot of men.
Okay, so do you want to actually just throw a percentage out there?
No.
Well, you already said it's over 51, so just throw a percentage out.
I just don't know the percentage. I just know it's like higher than half.
More than half.
Yeah.
Per se, we could, like 51%.
Sure, 51%.
Okay. You said bear, correct?
Yes.
What percentage of men do you think would attack you in these circumstances?
Based on my life, based on my track record, 10%.
Honestly,
I agree.
again, from my personal record, I feel like 51% from my personal statistics, not from anyone else's.
Your personal statistics.
Like from what's happened to me in my life, not anyone else's. Like,
Okay. So you have do you have any siblings? Male siblings?
my brother.
Mm-hmm. Father,
Trans.
uncles.
Oh yeah, no, I have a stepdad and a dad, uncles.
Okay. And like
Thing.
all the men, so you're basically the men that you know in your life, 51% of them would victimize a woman in these circumstances?
I wouldn't say the men in my life, but men.
So
like,
you're just a
right-
better judge of character than the general population, or?
Oh no, not at all. Like again,
Okay.
from my and I'm not speaking for everyone else. Everyone has their own stuff. Like I don't hate men. Like I'm just saying from my personal life, I love my stepdad.
So in
to
your
death.
personal life, what's the percentage?
I'd say 51%. And I'm not saying like
No,
my,
of the men that you know in your personal
that
life.
are right now.
That you know, yeah.
Right now, none of them, because I don't like I don't need those people in my life if they're gonna like victimize me and like do this bad shit to me. Like there's no reason to have them in my life. So every man that's in my life right now they're cool. And I don't have nothing but respect for them, including my father.
Who
and
else
my
said
dad.
bear? Did anybody over here say bear?
No.
Okay. So just to be clear, you guys think that 80 million men in the United States would choose to attack a woman in these circumstances? Just so I have that understanding correct.
I think it's hard to put a number on this.
How is it hard?
I just think it really just like kind of depends.
I mean, if you put like a bunch of men in like say like a purge night where everything is legal, do you think that 51% of men would like be like go like nuts or not? That's just.
I'm not entirely familiar with that movie. I think I have a.
Basically, they kill and do, all the crimes are legal.
Basically.
All the crimes.
Yeah, even in that movie, it wasn't that high.
Like murder and stuff like that. So if you put.
Yeah, even in the movie, it wasn't that high. Even in the movie, not that many people participated in the purge. That's an insane number.
Well, that's a fantasy.
50.
She was actually using that as an example.
If 51% of men would do that, why wouldn't they just enslave all women then?
I don't know. I mean, that's like going back to the movie The Midwife, or what's it called, The Midwife or whatever. But like that's not.
Why are we talking about movies? Movies are not real life.
It was a hypothetical.
That was what I was saying. No, I'm saying hypothetically, if you got a real life purge, like if everyone in this room, if we started a purge, I think that 51% of men would like, I don't know.
What percentage of women?
I'd say, I don't know. Maybe
1%. 1% of women. 99% of women are good. At minimum 51% of men.
Oh, they would
are
like
bad.
go after men? No, I'd say like, I mean, it's obviously going to be a large amount because like both genders obviously like have issues, but statistically more crimes are committed like by men, like according to
what percentage
studies.
of women in the purge situation?
Yeah, a tiny. It's. I mean, that's true, but it's such a tiny. Do you realize that the amount of violent crime perpetrated by men, as a whole, per capita, it's still very, very small. Most men are not out committing violent crime. Almost no man, in fact.
Well, almost no men, but
almost no man.
If you think that the repercussions were taken away,
could you please repeat
about
that?
A small percentage of society which ever commits violent crimes, teeny tiny percentage.
I mean,
you're saying most
it
of
is
them
a small percentage
are not men who are committing these crimes.
No,
that's not what I said.
Okay, would they not do it because of morals or the repercussions?
Than women, it's still a small percentage of men overall who commit crimes.
No, but are we speaking like, say, again, there's repercussions. Say the repercussions are taken away. Do you think that would make more men act out? Are they not acting out like that because it's against their morals?
Yeah, I
think
that more women would act out as well if you took the repercussions away.
I'm not saying that's wrong. I just think statistically, according to all of that, like I don't want to mention certain topics on here, but more, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen with women, but statistically, more men do crimes like that. And I'm not saying like because I hate men or anything. Like it's literally just a statistical fact.
But I mean, there's no disagreement that more men commit violent crimes than women. Nobody's disagreeing that that's true.
Oh no, I know.
It's the scale in which you believe it's true that we're questioning.
Well, what was
your
beyond
statement? Probable cause? That's 51%.
Your
which
statement
means women could be like 49%.
Was that like in the grand scheme of things, men commit a small amount
Grid 1
of
Motorsport
crimes.
donated $200. Stupid women. A man in the forest is trying to get away from women and have no interest in hurting you.
Stupid women.
Fucking professional victims on this show. Get some fucking help.
Thanks for the 200.
All right,
Nah,
Grid
that's
One.
real sad.
I'm gonna let a couple.
Pay $200 to
say
say that. Okay.
I need to read two chats. Abigail, you want to try to hold on? Nick, hide it, please.
Don't worry about it.
Can you read it?
How is the pink shirt?
I'll read it.
Thank you.
Okay, how is the pink shirt girl demanding so much, but all she has is used blank? What's up with the Mexican chick? Okay, I'm not reading the rest of that, bro. You fucking wild, dude.
What?
Wow.
Law paladins, women want men to be emotional, but yet if Brian gets emotional about being lied to and manipulated, the entire panel jumps on him and attacked him for being emotional.
Well, it's Ben's fault.
I don't think he was being emotional.
He's not being emotional.
No
It's
one
a
attacked him
podcast.
for being emotional.
It's a podcast. He can share his opinion. That's what a podcast is.
Yeah.
No one's.
That's a good point, paladins. I was kind of noticing that. Like when I got tilted, like do you see the sort of like, how do I explain it? When I was tilted, there's almost this sort of like.
Goodbye, woke black man.
Wait, hold on. Let me finish. When I got tilted, there was this sort of like malevolent sort of satisfaction, like I've gotten under his skin. Like she enjoyed kind of getting me a little riled up.
I feel like you enjoy riling them up as well. I feel like
I
you
don't
have
enjoy
the same.
riling people up. I prefer just having
Well,
calm,
I
level-headed
feel like
conversations.
No,
you've been
don't.
talking.
This is gaslighting
I
right
feel like
here.
you've been talking very rudely, like even just speak in the microphone. I mean, even
How
to
is
me,
that rude? How is it rude to say that?
Well, it's not that it's rude. It's your the tone in your voice that you're using, and that.
If I have to remind somebody 7 times.
Yeah, but you did it to me.
Let me ask you a question.
You did it to me, and you didn't have to remind me 7 times, and you gave me a rude tone of voice, which I don't care.
Before the show, did I instruct you politely to speak into the microphone? I instructed everybody.
Sure, but you don't have to be
politely.
rude about it if you got to remind somebody one time. And I don't even think it was about the microphone, which you.
It's your little comments like, oh, these girls can't even comprehend hypotheticals. You couldn't actually comprehend a hypothetical.
Can you even pronounce hypothetical? Go ahead.
No. You actually couldn't comprehend a hypothetical when she brought up the Purge movie. You were like, why are we talking about movies? That was a hypothetical. You're out here saying we can't comprehend hypotheticals. That's rude. You're making all these little side comments. Sorry for fucking up the word.
That actually wasn't a hypothetical. So what she was doing was taking an event, a placed event, and then making a creative analogy. It wasn't actually a hypothetical. She wasn't asking
I'm so
if you were
sorry to
step
interrupt
in.
you, Andrew.
Yeah.
Also, you commenting about me.
Stop. Let him finish.
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to interrupt you.
No, you're not going to have to interrupt him. Go ahead, Andrew. You let him.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that wasn't actually a
speak.
hypothetical. She was trying to draw statistics from something which is observable that she has seen before. There wasn't a question which was involved that would have made that a hypothetical.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You telling me, oh, can you even pronounce the word hypothetical? That's a rude comment right there. Like, you know what you're doing.
You've
You're
been
trying
sassy
to rile
this
us up.
entire show.
Because you've
I'm
been
matching your
sassy,
energy.
dude.
I am.
I don't know
your
how
energy.
you can't even see that for yourself. Like, truly, it actually is boggling my mind, and I'm honestly concerned that you can't understand
and you
how
can't
you
understand
have
how
been.
to speak into the microphone.
See, and there he goes again.
I've literally told you multiple times.
Oh my God, is that really our biggest issue here? I feel like you're our biggest issue here.
Or you could just do it.
Or is this really me speaking into the microphone our biggest issue here?
You could just do it.
I'm doing it right now, dude.
You've now corrected it. Go ahead with your point.
See, there you go. Like, you can't even
I'm telling you to finish your point.
No, you're not telling me to finish my point. You can't even converse with me on important things. You just like to point out, oh, look at you, cool. Like, you don't even know how to have an actual conversation when a woman is bringing up a point that's actually correct.
What's your point?
My point is that you've been just as rude as I have been. And when I say that, you're just like, oh, can you even speak into a mic?
Yeah, but you started it.
You started it.
I started.
I mean, you did. You started. Yeah, you started it. You were being a brat. Come on. Let's be real. You were being a brat. You know you were being a brat.
No, he was asking ridiculous
bratty?
questions. Oh, I think I can definitely have an attitude when necessary. You were asking ridiculous questions. You were prying her about her friend's passing. I think that's rude and disrespectful, and I called you out on it. And then suddenly you have a problem with that.
You called me an asshole,
Are we doing call-out culture now? Are we calling each other out?
He's doing call-out culture, you fucking bimbo. Like, hello?
That's himbo to you.
All right.
Okay, himbo.
All right.
My bad.
I'm moving it on.
That's himbo. Now, notice I didn't insult you at all.
I'm gonna just have to call you a bimbo. I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, you remember how I never insulted you, but you insulted me? That's exactly how it started with Brian, too, because you're a brat, and you can't control your emotions.
But you did call her brat first, and
You did call me a brat first.
Stop being
Actually,
brat.
Andrew, that's a good point.
I wanna
You called me a brat first,
It's
then I called you a bimbo.
Andrew, do you have kids?
There we go.
Wait.
There we go.
Wait, do you have kids?
Got you.
Yeah,
Do you
I
talk to your children like this? Like,
Do I call
genuinely?
them brats?
Yeah.
Do I call them brats when they're being brats?
No, I mean just
No.
the nagging and the name calling and just
And the passive aggressive.
Yeah, I'm sorry, did I call
It's just
anybody
funny
a
because I'm
name?
watching a grown man nag.
Wait.
Little,
Did I call
teenager.
anybody a name, or did someone?
Yes,
call
you
me a brat?
called me a brat. Hello.
Yeah, hang on, after what? After you called me a
She
name.
started it.
No, you got it first. You called me a brat first.
See,
Then I called you a bimbo,
No,
we don't have
honey.
to rewind this.
No.
No, you called him a himbo.
You called me a himbo, so I said you're a brat.
You said it first.
I thought
You said it
I thought
first.
you
And
by
said,
the way-
I thought
by
you
the
said
way-
that you were being a brat, and that's why. And you were. No. I thought
This is
thought
the-
you said she was being a brat because
No,
and you were
no,
saying
no, I
that
said
about
the behavior's
what their
bratty,
whole thing
but
was.
I didn't call her a
And then
brat.
I think she called you a bimbo, but maybe I'm wrong.
I didn't call her a
I
brat.
have to
I
go
just said it was
back.
bratty behavior.
Didn't call me a brat. I'm so
After
sorry.
you called me a bimbo.
You're describing her. That is
Oh my God, you guys are ridiculous.
using
these
some
days.
adjectives.
Oh.
I want a shirt that says himbo.
I want a shirt that says himbo. Actually, I'm a himbo. I want that as a shirt. I think you guys get a
Himbo.
lot of money
No,
from
you're
that.
just a bimbo, not a himbo. You can't take himbo.
No, I'm
That's
not
for
taking
me.
himbo.
You're
That's totally your
bimbo.
thing. You're so right.
It B with a B for you.
Himbo.
An H for
Himbo.
me.
I think it
Himbo.
should be, you're a bimbo.
Yeah, himbo.
No, I'm a himbo, and that's the shirt that we get made. And you guys,
what man would be upset by being called a himbo, though?
I don't know what.
do you like being called a himbo?
No, man. Yeah, sure. That's fine. I mean, that's fine with me.
Okay. I love that for you.